And we're alive. And welcome to the Kill Be Kill podcast. I'm Damian, of course, I'm with Josh. And welcome to the most unlistened to podcast on the interwebs. Again, you can train with us. The link's in the bottom. We have Bodyguard. We're doing our, as always, we are doing our Kickstart lessons. We just got another one that signed up actually just before I got on a call. Yeah, so again, with our training, it's a combination of, online, you can just do the videos on demand. That's great. Go through the courses, go through your training, self-directed, no problem. If you want help, you can post comments and get immediate support. Or if you want more hands-on experience, you could train either in person or over the interwebs with one of our certified instructors. Yeah, man. So, it's been a crazy week. What's going on over there in the great state of Texas?
I mean, on top of all the craziness, for those that didn't hear, we had that guy that got decapitated like the same day as the Charlie Kirk thing. And then there's that school shooting. And then, but everybody's just dealing with the aftermath, basically, of Charlie Kirk, right? Like my wife went to a candlelight vigil thing last night and, so just whatever, just normal stuff for me, work and whatever.
Right. Yeah, I said we'll get into that in a bit. I mean, we do have the video that you sent over, that awful attack down in Dallas. We'll go over some of the Charlie Kirk stuff, maybe from a little different angle for everybody. And so first, let's get to some hate mail. So
the best.
Yes, it really is. It's really fun. Let me get where's it? Okay, we'll start off with, I got it all. Actually, I have it. Share screen. Okay. Now, share. Okay, here we go. And we'll start off with something really simple. This is for the Combatives Fast course. And Scott writes, Bullshito. And my response, well, if you say so, LOL. So, again, just name calling. I love it. This is people that read something, get a reaction, and this is why should we be special or any different? We get this nonsense too. If people don't know who Bushido is, or it's bullshit and combined with Bushido. They're still around. They just basically would troll martial artists. It's an MMA based group that does it. It's like him, and then there was another guy that another white guy that was kind of attached to them, skinny dude, but he's he was doing he did this thing with nunchucks, and he was serious. And I know one time he kind of approached me, and then I kind of started engaging with him, and then he just stopped. So anyway, this is just a stupid comment. There's nothing more to say.
You know what you should respond with to that? You should respond with the Penn and Teller, no BS or whatever.
Oh yeah. I could post that. I could post that up there. Basically, you're not the first. Right. and they actually took a shot at it. So one of the posts we recently did was this one. Let me just say, we did a gun retention. Sorry. Okay. Guy goes for your weapon. Immediately, we're going to trap it. Now I just want to attack the man. Attack. Again, this is part of the attack. You still got to worry about the rest of him. As you're hitting him, he's going to react. Now you withdraw and draw your firearm. Do not do anything like this nonsense or any of these complex motor skill nonsense dojo stuff. This is life or death. He's going for your weapon. React accordingly. Okay, again, really simple. When so we get these comments.
I bet you got so much stuff on this one.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, we did, and it's fun. So here he goes. Yes, and your attacker's just going to stand there. Well, first you see the video, he's not standing there. He's grabbing my weapon, and I'm attacking him. So when you hit somebody and you try to start, use your forward drive, you hit them, you try to take him, you try to take him down. I mean, try to, you attack the man, you're freaking fighting. So then he responds with, he can also spin and get out of it or fight back into it. I've seen fights where this technique doesn't always work. You just expect him to move backwards because that's how you train in the dojo. Can't be using my dojo against my dojo comment. Can't flip that shit on me. And I'm like, less than white belt comment. I'm like, you break away and draw. So even if this guy, first off, if the guy starts to do anything other than try to grab your weapon in that split second. So, and we talked about this before because people like look at it as like, he's looking at this as like, oh, he does this, I'll do this, as like a fight counter, which is like sparring sport mentality when it comes into this stuff. In reality, he's just grabbing your, he's like, I want your weapon. I'm getting your weapon. I'm fixated on your weapon. That's my mission right now in life. And to think that as soon as he, so what he's saying is like, as soon as I pin him, he's just going to turn and spin away. Like he's automatically going to know to do that. So meanwhile, you're hitting him and he's spinning away. And as soon as he's spinning away, he's actually doing my job for me. Meaning he's creating space, which is all we really want to do with this. We want him to, we want to stop his attack. We want to secure a weapon and then immediately stop his momentum. So if he starts spinning away, moving away, kind of, okay, I draw my weapon and fire and I'm done.
This is one of those comments where they watched a 15-second clip and then determined that they know 100% about everything that you're going to teach or know, right?
Yes. Right.
Because it's like, oh, he's just going to go backwards, and you're like, well, no, if you actually watch like all the training, all the videos, that it's like a visceral, a dynamic situation.
Right.
The point is you're not going to stop until he stops.
Correct. And
that's what we teach.
Beating the shit out of him. Like Greg,
right.
years ago, I saw a video of creating leverage when fighting for your firearm, and that's when I stopped carrying appendix. I don't know how you refer to that, Greg. I don't know when you mean by leverage, because if someone grabs your firearm, just start hitting them and gouging and attacking them. I carry appendix because I keep it in front of me. That's why it's here. I've got it in front of me. I can control it, especially like when you start getting, if you're on the ground and you're rolling around, you're not on your, it's less of a chance of it being pinned underneath your body. That's why you never carry 6 o'clock, just for that reason. So if you get
for sure.
Yeah. Like, what's his name down in Florida? The dude who, shot the kid in the hoodie. I think he had it in his, I don't know if he had it out or I don't know where he was carrying it. But I think he had a 6 o'clock carry for some reason, if I remember. I'm probably remembering that wrong. That's not the first time. Okay, thanks. Greg's going to dig up that video and get it to us. Okay, cool, dude, because Greg, post that, and then we can talk about it next time. That would be awesome. Thank you very much. So, yeah, I mean, someone's grabbing your weapon. They intend to, it's automatically life or death. So there's no sense in messing around with anything that's less than the most amount of damage that I can do to him. And while his hands are occupied with his weapon, you got to fight. Chances are, if he starts, again, this is for somebody just grabbing your weapon, they're not attacking you first, which would be technically, you'd be kind of be doing the same defense, to be quite honest, because now it's just it's a fight. So you got to fight. And then as soon as you can create space and stop his momentum, then you draw your weapon. So
you fight to your weapon, right?
Yeah, right. So, and that's where, you're like, you're hearing this. It's like, he grabs it. I'm like, I'm not trying to just, I'm pinning it just to make sure that, my holster holds up, that the weapon doesn't go anyplace, and I can at least, control something, because still, dude, if you're reaching down, I want you to do something. I want you to reach down. I want you to hold tightly to like your heavy bag or training dummy on the hip and see how hard you're actually hitting when you do that, because now it's like you've got no body rotation. It's basically just an arm shot. We're also moving into him, so we're jamming whatever we're doing. I mean, look, it's a fight. So,
Yeah. The other thing I
stuff
like about
happens.
this comment, the other thing I like about this comment, he says, I've seen fights where this technique doesn't always work. Show me a technique that works 100% of the time.
Show me the fight, because he's lying. He's never seen that, because how many times have you seen somebody grab their gun? And are you saying, you've never seen that? Unless someone's like, trying to like, just grab your ass, and then maybe, I don't know. Wait, man, whatever you do,
It goes back to that like wrist grab thing, right? Like very few
Right.
people are just going to lunge for your gun. It's usually you're on the ground already, and now they're trying to go for your gun.
I mean, there's also people, like, especially if you're an open carry, where they are, people will stare at it. Cops
for sure
all the time. I mean, cops get it all the time. People are just staring at your weapon, and you don't know what you're dealing with. I mean, they're just insane. So, you got a motion disordered person.
Even I stare at people who are open carrying.
Yeah, totally. I'm not lying. Yeah, I just see it like, oh, what is that? That's a Glock? Yeah. Okay. And I'm like, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
And then like assessing the person. Do I think he's trustworthy or not?
Right. Immediately, because all of a sudden it's like, okay, that guy could kill me right now, so I'm keeping an eye on you. Sorry, but yeah. So it's, again, you're looking at this, this dojo kind of, even though he's saying that, it's like, oh, you do this, I do this, you do that, it's specific kind of counter reaction. Again, to your point, you're looking at this in a vacuum, like it's a sparring situation. And in reality, in self-defense, it's not. They're attacking you in a way that they think is going to be most successful. They think the outcome is going to be like, I'm getting this guy's gun and I'm going to shoot him. So,
The other thing too is like, this is obviously a 15-second instructional video. Like you can't go 100% when you're teaching something, right? You have to pause. You have to talk about the idiosyncrasies and the technique,
right.
Even though it's only 15 seconds, right? You're obviously it's not a demonstration going full tilt, right?
And I'm not hitting it.
Right, because you need a training partner. You can't just destroy your training partners.
And this is why we train on the dummies and the pads so much,
because
we can hit it. So to sit there and be like, I've seen this not work. I guarantee you've never seen this anywhere. And again, like these anecdotal lies, because he's lying. He's lying.
It makes me think of that video, which I haven't been able to find, but it's like a early 90s video, and this dude's like trying to teach the chop, and he's like in front of his house, and like across the street, like some black dude's like beating his girl or something, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? And he comes walking over, and he's like this huge dude, like almost twice as big as this dude teaching the chop, and the guy's like walking over, and he's just like, hey, I don't want any trouble, and the guy's like, oh, I'm about to bring down the pain, and then he just goes, what, bam, and the dude just falls.
Yes.
And the guy's like, huh? It works.
It worked. Dude, there's that video that years ago, the guy, there was like a dude out in the street, but some guy was putting on a karate demonstration. Remember, it's like in the 80s. And the guy starts with him, he just like bang, he just drops him. Or
there's several of them. There's several.
There's a couple soldiers fucking around in the barracks. And one of the guys just like drops the dude. You're like, yeah, dude, it fucking works. This is why the SAS loved it. This is why Fairburn used it. This is why Commandos used it, because it freaking works.
Because it works.
Because you've never seen, it's, again, all this stuff has been replaced by, boxing because of sport, martial art. And I'm not saying that you can't punch somebody and knock them out. I know this works. Absolutely 1,000%. But again, getting into the difference between using an edge of hand or a heel of hand versus a fist, everything from providing cover to protecting your knuckles, to be able to, nothing like smashing your knuckles on somebody's skull and then trying to operate a firearm. That sucks. Good luck with that. So there's a reason for all of this stuff. On the same video, we got another comment. This guy says, where is it? There's a hate mail. Okay. Wouldn't he be swinging his right fist at your face? And I'm like, sure. That's why we attack with the forward drive. It gets you off the X. Of course, we're not, we're immediately going. So as soon as we're pinning, we're striking. Again, we're covered. That fist is going to come up. Yeah. I mean, again, it's a fight. Things happen.
You might get punched in the face.
There are no guarantees, people. But, to sit there and be like, look, I'll be honest. If you want to do turn that, I go back and forth with the punch stop because if I connect to the head, it effectively stops his momentum.
It's a punch stop as well.
Yeah. And I'm starting to
you're pushing him off balance, all that force, right? Was it momentum plus velocity or mass plus velocity or whatever?
Yeah, equals force, right?
Yeah, equals force, right? All that you reduce the velocity and the mass.
Yes. So, when you're seeing this and you're like, well, yeah, okay, well, couldn't he sneak something in? I'm like, yes, but chances are when you're hitting him in the head and you're driving into him, there's going to be nothing on that punch. 1, 2, you're not going to be in the same place you were a split second ago because you're moving forward. You said you're getting off that X. So, it's going to not hit its mark the way you intended it to.
Yeah. And this goes back to that comment also ignores the fixation on the firearm, right?
Yes.
People don't realize that, they forget that when somebody is, especially they're trying to take your firearm, they're fixated on that firearm, right? That is the threat. That's the weapon that they want to steal, whatever. They're oblivious to all that other stuff. When we talk about tunnel vision and stuff, they're tunnel visioning on that firearm more likely than not. 100%. If they were just going to punch you, they would just punch you and then take your firearm,
Right. Exactly. Great point. So next one is where are you? Okay, Kathy B writes, ad targeted to paranoid right wingers, missed. And then my response is always, do you own a fire extinguisher? I'm like, are we paranoid now after what's been going on? Right? How am I paranoid? It's I see this mantra from these people. And if they're people, I don't know, so that is oh, you're paranoid. Oh, what are you scared? Yeah, I am. Paranoid or prepared. What's the difference? So in light of what's going on, it's why would, I guess people on the left don't worry about getting shot?
I mean, it goes back to that whole, why do people hate on body armor? It's purely defensive.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's just, how is this, especially if you're anti-gun violence and anti-gun, I would imagine you should own a shitload of body armor.
Right? If you can't provide your own cover by fire, you at least got to be shelled up.
Right. I don't understand it. But then I guess the other thing would be oh, that's only in the not where I live kind of, oh, I don't do that. Okay, so now you're a racist. I was okay, what is it? You don't, if I'm do you commute? Do you go in crowds? Do you see what happens or what's happening? And every time there's, a school shooter or an active murderer in a school, I should just be calling them school murderers and active murderers, in public places, they're targeting who? They're targeting whatever they can see, right? So, I don't understand why, this is a right wing or paranoid thing from my. Now, this could be a way of the subversive, attitudes to make us weaker, right? So they're yeah, well, you're just being paranoid. You don't need that. Why would you use that? You don't need that. Stay unprotected so we can shoot you easier. Because apparently these dudes are obviously taking shooting lessons and, for people who hate guns, they go to guns a lot. So you would, it's pretty interesting
That's funny that you say that. So like years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, I was talking with my friends and, they were all like, well, we've got all the guns. And I'm like, you think people on the left don't own guns too?
Right.
I'm like, everybody's got guns in America. It doesn't matter what side you're on. Sure, some might use them more than others, but you can't say that they have no guns.
Right. I mean, if you looked at, if you went by stereotypes, they don't have guns and they don't go to the gym. Right? Like none of them, like they don't work out. I do like Antifa training videos that people post. They are fun.
Oh, have you seen them? I've never even heard of these.
I gotta find them. I gotta put them up. Antifa training videos. Yeah, this dude's like out in the woods doing like karate and shit. It's awesome.
It's like awesome. The slap boxing.
Yes, but you would imagine though that is just some. I mean, there's some people who are, because what happens is, like we talked about the other day during your how to topple a government blueprint.
Oh, the irregular warfare one. Yeah.
Yeah. So they would have those forces would be infiltrated by dudes who know what the hell they're doing, and
at least enough to make them dangerous, right?
Right, and that's what makes them scary. So
yeah,
I mean, looking at, and then on that note, we can get into what's been going on this week. Looking at yeah. I mean, look, you've got this, you had the, let's face it, you have the Democratic legislators that were killed in Minnesota, right?
2-3 months back.
Yeah. That guy, trying to get a beat on him, he said it had nothing to do with Trump or, abortion. We don't know why he targeted them.
So I looked into that quite a bit more because people are coming out and saying like, oh, he's right wing, it was politically motivated, blah 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 blah.
Right.
Which they thought it was politically motivated because those two people were about to vote on an abortion bill.
Right.
But it didn't make sense because they were actually going to vote for the bill, not against the bill. So that actually didn't make sense. But then, so I looked into it more, and the guy, I guess, belongs to some really fringe, we'll use that term loosely, Christianity group.
Yeah, sure.
And anyways, apparently he was just starting the war between good and evil or something. That was his motivation.
And we don't know why he picked them. I mean, maybe right.
So in his state, so they ended up finding a list, and they found like basically every Democrat person, a bunch of other key figures on this list. It was like 50 people, and he only got to 2 of them. So
yeah, again, don't do that. Like it's horrific and awful. What makes the Charlie Kirk thing, what impacts everybody is that, one, he wasn't a politician. 2, he was publicly executed. And don't get me wrong, I think the guy in Minnesota wouldn't mind making it public. So whatever, I don't know what is, what goes into people's heads when they do this, especially when they think that, they need to, that they're crusading.
Yeah.
So, that's really what it is. And, like we said before, they're just like getting activated. I just think it's more organized from the other side in a way, just because of the frequency of it. Obviously, you got 2 attempts on Trump. You got this. I mean, look, make no mistake. If I were, Nancy Pelosi or I don't know who the head of the DNC is right now, I'd be like tripling my security. Because it's going to be, it's like there's some eye for an eye shit that can happen. And that's my concern, is that, okay, yeah, right now it's on the fringes, but then it starts creeping in to here as, we're having, like with our daughter, we're having, rhetoric, which is nice, right? Like, we talk about stuff. I keep, again, they keep posting, he's, spoke for gun control and he got what he asked for, kind of insane shit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he didn't, he's not talking about, you should publicly execute people. He's like, people should yeah, people do, because look, we drive cars, yet there are accidents every freaking day. And like, well, the car is essential for me to get to work and all this. Yeah, but a firearm is essential to, one, protect your home, two, to protect yourself, three, to protect all the other amendments in the Constitution and your sovereign rights. And what people are like, well, I know it's abstract, but it's really not. As things are unfolding, you're looking at what happened with COVID and in other countries. Look at what's happening in the UK and in France. And, now people are getting like shot and killed by criminals. Mm-hmm. So knowing that they're unprotected. I mean, freaking cops are, dude, give the cops guns. What are you doing? Yes, I understand that like 99.9% of the, most cops go through their entire careers. Maybe they pull their firearm a couple times, but the vast majority of them never fire it. With all the cops I know one that got new, that had to use his handgun. And one more, not too many people.
Yeah, unless they're doing a SWAT, high risk warrants, whatever, like that kind of stuff where you're expecting it. Like, no, everyday patrol, no, the chance is incredibly low.
Yeah, and as it should be, but there's always still a chance, right? And most of the times, guys get shot because they're pulling. It's usually a traffic stop. When they're on patrol, and you don't know who the hell you're pulling over. Funny story. One of our local PDs, they pulled over a group of three, black men, and the report was that they were, what was it? Oh God, unusually nervous. That's why they pulled him over. And my buddy, like, I got, friends and whatever. And I'm with my one buddy. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you look, I'm like, wow, I'm like, you're unusually nervous too. I'm like, my buddy, I'm like, you're only half unusually nervous. You're just kind of anxious. So, but yeah, dude, obviously that still happens, but you're still looking at, I never, like, I used to think that, I never thought that, the Second Amendment, I thought it was important to be able to defend yourself, but never thought about it from the government because, again, because people will say, like, well, the government will just, take a drone and, like, blow you up, so.
Roll a tank down your street.
Right, and all that other shit. And you're like, yeah, I get that. But let's say there was a civil war, and I know we talked about this before. There's going to be factions of the military that are going to split. And that's what happens. So it's not like all of a sudden everyone's going to be like, okay, Staff Sergeant Kaywood, you're going to go to your neighborhood now and just start rounding up all your friends and family. Oh, no problem. I'll go do that, right? You're going to be like, what the fuck? And then you're going to have there's going to be some colonel that's going to be like, fuck this. We're meeting here.
Yeah, like one of the things they tell you is like you have to obey every lawful order, right?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Now, granted, like in the moment, if you're like, no, I'm not doing that, I don't think it's lawful. Like you could get in trouble. They could, arrest you, et cetera, whatever. You go to trial, et cetera, right? But in the moment, you don't you technically can say, I don't think that's lawful, right? And you can refuse to do it. Now, what happens from that repercussion? I mean, who knows, right? However, you don't have to obey it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Because we're all there to, we all swore to protect and uphold the Constitution. Not my commander, not the president, not the Congress, the Constitution.
Right. So, and you have to look at it too. It's like from a ground level, boots on the ground level. So if you're armed and these things are happening, it's like, imagine like everybody in the world, in the country. We got like 300 million guns, something like that. There's like 3 guns for every people. There's a shit ton of firearms out there. They're going to be coming out, kicking down doors. It's not going to be easy.
Well, and people forget, like, yeah, we have all this advanced weaponry and, armor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, as the military, but like, how effective is that actually against an insurgency, right? If, people forget is like, if the American government comes after its own people, it's going to be fighting an entrenched insurgency, right? And yes, they will get large groups of people with these advanced materials, but the vast majority are going to be basically left untouched, and they're going to be just pot shotting everybody.
What the hell happened in Afghanistan?
That's my point.
How did how'd that go?
Vietnam, like, it's all over the place. The examples are everywhere. Insurgency is the hardest thing to root out because it's ideology. You're not fighting just people, you're fighting ideology.
Right. And like you said, you kill, please, like, you get killed, your kids are going to avenge your death. That's just
every person killed becomes a martyr at that point, right?
Yeah. Yes. So, it's impossible. And now, so you're doing it, and like, they know this. So, now you've got this, whole,
that's why foreign countries won't come here, right? Foreign countries won't invade here. They're not worried about our military. I mean, we obviously it'd be it'd be rough for them facing our military on our home turf. However, when they do their national security briefs, it's not, well, we're worried about the American military. It's worried about those millions of guns and ammo of everyday citizen in America who generally is more violent than the rest of the world.
We are very violent. I mean, you talked about this before. We are generally, look, there are places where I guarantee, pound for pound, there are countries with people that are tougher than us, right? I mean, you see how fat we are walking around. I mean, but the level of violence that we will go to very quickly. I mean, you were talking about this not too long ago. When
I've talked about it many times. Yeah. It's, it's like, where, Americans go other places and people are scared because, like, oh, that American's scary, their perception, even if you just take the perception of movies, right? How many violent movies do we come out with? Like, people don't want to deal with that. People are like, nah, that's scary. I don't want to deal with that.
Right. So, as we're talking about, the execution and the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I got weird things about the shooter, man. There's just some things that are just not adding up. One of the guys on the Valhalla podcast is a former Green Beret. You're kind of looking at the jacket. They're not showing any video of him walking up, right?
You see one of him running across and he gets in position.
Right.
But that's it.
Yeah. And so, Greg comments, Admiral Urusoku Yamamoto said there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass, suggesting an invasion of the United States would face overwhelming civilian armed resistance. Thank 100%. You, Greg. Yes. Yeah. And plus, our map is insane. I mean, it's just so we got large bodies of water on each side. Even if you're coming from the north and the south, it's just so vast. It's like, I mean, would we do a ground troop invasion of China or Russia? No, that's nuts, right? So, I mean, we're going to just, try to bomb the crap out of us. I think I saw something where they're stacking up like military equipment, and we're like double, if not more than like China, who would be the closest one with like, military, assets. So, but, so the easiest way to topple us is just, as you said, is ideology, break us from within, get us in fighting, biologicals, crap like that. I think.
Yeah, I mean, getting a civil war going would be the cream for them, right? We fight each other, and then while we're broken, they swoop in and supplant somebody in our government, right? They're not going to just swoop in and be like, now we're in charge, right? That's never going to work because Americans will immediately just turn on whoever's there, right? We're like, no, this is our fight, get out of here, right?
Right, yeah. It's off. It's like walking in on two brothers fighting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just look what happened with 9/11. Like, we weren't all like super nice to each other at 9/11, and all of a sudden 9/11 happens, and all of America's like, oh, you want to attack us? You're going to burn now.
Yeah, right. So, as we said, we're looking at the shooter. Yeah. They don't have any video of him walking across campus. They just have still images. And it looks like his knees are bending. So let's just say maybe he staged the weapon up there. as a possibility, right? So then they have, him, he's got a jacket in his hand. Someone's like, or a towel, and it's wrapped around that. It looks weird. It doesn't look like, I don't know. It's hard to tell from the resolution, right? Plus, it could be, what's AI doing, right? Now we have that to deal with that we didn't have, hell, in 1963. So, there's that. And then Candace Owens was just live, and I was watching her, and she was going through the timeline of stuff, and they're dumping all these records from his phone. She's like, but there's no timestamp. There's stuff that's redacted, of him to his boyfriend. And then the boyfriend is like, nobody's talking. No one's interviewing him. No one's talking. No one can get to him. He was telling him his plan, allegedly, all this stuff. So where's that information, right? There's just so much stuff missing. And
yeah, did you hear about that plane that took off 30 minutes after, and then they turned off their tracker?
No.
Oh, you didn't hear about that? Yeah. So,
hold on.
So apparently, yeah, put it on. This will lead into the video too.
Okay.
So apparently 30 minutes after the shooting, a private jet takes off out of Provo Airport, which is a small, tiny, like private airport.
I saw Fletch.
So they take off out of this airport, and 30 minutes into the air, they turn off their tracker illegally, right? Because those things have to be on.
Yeah, right.
And then an hour later, it turns back on 30 minutes from the airport, coming back to the airport.
Oh.
So everybody's like, well, what was that about?
What was that about?
That's awfully weird timing.
Right. Yeah, that's odd. So who's the pilot? Who's the pilot? Where are the flight logs? What's going, where's that information? Who got that information? Where, where's that coming from? So, yeah, it's like, something that, I mean, it's a massive undertaking. And then, again, Candace was reporting that there were reports from neighbors that there were unfamiliar cars coming to, that were coming to and from their apartment over the, weeks preceding it.
So what if this Tyler guy, what if he's just the proxy, right? What if he's just the fall guy? And that leads us into this next video. Right.
So to your point, I mean, like Oswald, we were talking about this morning with Mike on our morning walk. We're talking about like Oswald, was definitely involved in the assassination. But when he said, I'm just a patsy, he said it so matter-of-factly that you're like, yeah. And he winds up, don't play it yet. I want you to set it up. So, he was part of a kill squad, and they just dumped him. They just dumped it on him. So you have a similar thing here where you got a kid who has been radicalized. Like, okay, we got our useful idiot, put him in position. Here's where you're going to be. And if he hits him, great. If he doesn't, he doesn't. So, okay, set this up if you would.
Okay, so some people had pointed out almost right away that they saw some guy in a white hat or whatever making hand signals and stuff.
Yes.
So some person actually broke that video down and points out a third person, right? It talks about it all in this video. So we'll just watch the video.
Okay, cool.
All right, here we go. I don't know if there's sound. I guess we'll find out.
Okay.
So this guy has his arm tucked under.
Got it.
That's what they're pointing out. So there's this third guy there. He's got his arm tucked under.
He's got a headset on? No.
All right.
No, he doesn't.
Then we've got that guy, signal sniper. Okay. Sniper. And then you've got that guy, commander suspect. Number 3 does not react like everybody else. He doesn't look at Charlie. He takes 2 steps back. Boom.
So he said he shot him from. Oh. Okay.
Okay, they're saying the angle of the body, the way he moves, makes sense for that shot.
Right.
That's what that's saying. And then you've got there's the guys, and then you've got that guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy there. So a different angle.
Right. So elbow, what is it saying?
It's saying as soon as it happens, his elbow moves because he's now concealing the object.
Okay. So they're saying the guy in the blue shirt was the shooter, or the gray shirt?
That's what they're saying. Yeah, that's what they're saying.
So you're saying we're looking at an exit wound? Because I think that would be bigger, no?
Yeah. Well, it depends on the caliber, right? Here's one of the other things, right? Apparently, the rifle that this kid used is a 30-06. If Charlie took a 30-06 to the throat, it would not have looked like that. It would not have looked like that. And so, but if it's a smaller caliber, and plus when you're hearing the shots, which, you know, acoustics can be weird, but it sounds like it's actually pretty close when like you see some of the footage that's pretty close. When you're kind of further back, it's harder to tell. You know, so again, you're wearing your tinfoil hat. This is one of the conspiracies now, right? Like, is that guy in the blue shirt, is he the actual shooter? And who is that guy? Nobody knows who this guy is. And did he get on this plane that supposedly disappeared? And 30 minutes later.
I mean, that's what I would, you know, I don't know why this guy would stick around unless he's like, holy shit, it just happened. And he's like, I'm ditching my weapon. I'm just getting the hell out of here. I mean, there's like so much with, you know, then it's who killed him and why. I mean, people are putting up the Israel thing, but it's like Charlie was not, I mean, even though he was questioning, you know, how it's being executed, he wasn't like he obviously wanted, you know, and he said he wanted Israel to win. And, you know, they're trying to, I guess they were, you know, they had him over there. And so, yeah. So
I'll stop sharing unless you want to watch it again.
Yeah. I mean, well, Greg writes, flight tracking is a tinfoil version of bird watching. Okay.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't know about. I mean, do planes drop in and out all the time, or no? Okay, so what?
And so that's why people watch to see planes pop off and then be like, "Ooh, what's going on?" Right?
Oh, okay. Because it could be like looking for like, you know, drug running and shit like that, or
government operations. I mean, whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, right. So then the question is, who killed him and why?
Exactly.
Because he was like, dude, I wasn't like I was like into, you know, it wasn't like I mean, I knew who he was. I liked what he did, but I wasn't like a fan. You know, I wasn't like sitting here watching all of his stuff.
Yeah, I didn't either. My wife did a lot, but I, you know, every now and then I'd see a little video or whatever. And
that's me.
Oh, okay, interesting.
That's
yeah,
like, that's
you know, whatever.
Cool. And I dig that he was, you know, doing that and engaging opposition in an open forum, which is, you know, what, you know, a lot of what I hate to use the term we, because it's like, it's what we need, really. And yeah, so, you know, tactically, so you're thinking, you know, it could have been like a little, you know, could have been any, you know, shit. I mean, 9mm.
22, probably.
22. Yeah, 22
probably. I mean, you know, you think like, oh no, whatever. But I mean, think about the small 22s. They have those ones that fit in belt buckles. They have like all the old CIA ones that they made in like umbrellas and crap. You know, like it's not that hard to put a
dude
22 together.
What's his name?
Oh, you're talking about the
Codename Dynamite.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
the dude's this SOG guy from Vietnam.
Yeah.
He's like he used a suppressed 22. He goes, it was absolutely silent. He's like, you couldn't even freaking hear it. So that would make sense from coming in, because then that would probably be what an exit wound would look like. And if they're saying, do we know, what does the autopsy say?
It hasn't been released as far as I know.
Yeah. So,
you know, and if
so why would they be
if the bullet tracks a different angle, you think they're going to release that? They've already caught their guy.
Yeah, they're not. They won't. They won't. I mean, look, you've got guys there setting him up as the sniper, and then the guy next to him. You know, can you run that again? Because I want to see what the dude in white next to him does before the shot. Yeah, just run it from the beginning again.
I'll just let it play. I won't pause it unless you want me to.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's our guy.
His right hand's tucked under, which okay, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So he's way out of he's clear. Okay, now why would he signal commander?
Probably just communicating that if he's the commander, or to like maybe there's somebody else who is the security commander, just saying like, hey, we're tracking this guy who's over here,
So they would be saying they see a sniper.
Yeah, so the guy's saying, hey, I see a sniper. And then the other guy, maybe he sent a signal to somebody, and then the other person then was like, maybe sent another signal, and then this guy then sent a signel back. I don't know who the commander in the group is. I don't know if he's saying, hey, commander, we have a suspect.
So these are, and these are not, these people are inside the perimeter, so they have to be part of a security detail.
Those two for sure are part of the security detail, and Charlie talked about how he went always with security,
Yeah. So, anyone in the perimeter is security, there wouldn't be a special guest sitting there. That is so.
You would think, you would assume, but again, this guy's kind of far from everybody else, and like the thing saying, he's not reacting like everybody else is,
Yeah, but again, like if they're signaling, who are they signaling sniper to? The shooter?
Yeah.
No.
We don't know, right?
Yeah, I don't. That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around now, because if he's if it's the security detail, like, hey, I see a sniper, that doesn't happen. What happens is, from my training,
they should grab
the fuck out of here.
The person. Yeah, they should grab the person.
You get the subject, you get the principal out. Principal's gone.
Right.
As soon as
that was my thought too, was like, why didn't they grab
It's immediate.
Right?
It's immediate. Yeah. It is not like, oh, hey, I think I see someone over there. We don't want to ruin this speech. It's we, put armor around them and get them out. Right. So,
but according to their SOPs, according to Charlie Kirk's wishes, perhaps they have a verification process, right? Maybe there's just for a moment, he's like, hey, I think I see a sniper. And then the guy says something, and he says something back, commander, is there a suspect? Right. He's saying, hey, is there somebody actually there? They're still trying to confirm, right? Maybe. And so they, because they don't want to maybe just rush Charlie out of there, right? They're like,
it's been in my experience that the subject has no fucking expertise in any of this, and they don't have a set. So that's it. No, Charlie Kirk doesn't get the right. I'm like, if it's a legit detail, dude, we make the decision for your safety, and you're gone, right? That's like when we would respond. That's like when we would respond to a fire call. Same thing. People are like, oh well, let's just hear. Like, no, it's our house now. You need to get out and let us do our job. So, and it's like 30-06 terminal ballistics.
I think he's going to post them. I think he's posting them next or something.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Again, look at the Secret Service with that Trump attempt, though, right? Like, how jacked up was that? We're talking about the Secret Service, supposedly the premier security protection people in the world.
Yeah, a couple things.
And that definitely could have been better.
I think they were pulled over from Homeland Security, and they were not Secret Service.
Some of them were,
or they were,
but not all of them.
Or they were desk people. A couple of reasons. One, it's like anyone around the principal's got to be bigger than them. So, there's like having someone smaller around there is useless. Like,
yeah, and Trump's pretty tall.
Yeah, I would not be primary on a subject because most of the times they're taller than me, right? So, that's just how it went. 1, 2, how they exited him. They took him on the wrong side of the car. They left like they were going to a fucking parade. Instead of like running and gunning it, they kept him. They allowed him to raise his fist up, which is a fucking no-no. Dude, yeah. Nothing worse than giving the shooter another bite at the apple, right? So
again, if they can have faux pas, Charlie's security team could have faux pas, right?
Yeah, but this is like, I get like signaling sniper, like these guys are in on it, right? That would be only explanation is that these guys are involved because they're in the perimeter.
Possibly.
And if they're signaling, I get if they are signaling the sniper. I don't understand the command gesture unless that means, you know, I don't know what that other, you know, what interpretation for that to be, or that's like a go signal or whatever, right? So, you know, it's like sniper and he's like, go, you know, that. And then if that's the case, why is he is he standing directly behind him?
No, they're off to the side a little bit. When it pans back out, you can see they're both kind of off to
keep
the side.
Keep playing it.
See, it looks like he was actually getting ready to move. Let me go back a little bit.
Yeah.
So
a little farther.
All right, so here we go. So watch the guy in blue. It looks like he makes the signal, and then he's actually getting ready to do something, and then the shot goes off. Makes a signal. Oh, no, I guess it was after the shot.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was literally right as the signal ended. Boom. Right? So, I mean, how much time passed between that? 2 seconds, 3 seconds, you know?
Yeah, so you got
between all the signals, right? So let's go back. Let's look at all the signals. I mean, and this is kind of in slow motion, obviously, but it wasn't long.
Suspect commander.
So he finishes his signal, and then the shot happens. Boom. We're talking half a second later.
Right. So the guy, depending on. So the guy in the gray, if he's point, he's clearing a path. Is anybody? Yeah, they don't show. You know what happens after, how they get him out of there.
Yeah, he's off to the side.
Yeah, he's off to the side. Yeah.
You know, but again, if his role is to clear the path, well, then him stepping back makes sense, right? Because that's something people don't recognize. You know, when you're talking about these kind of tactics, every person has a role to play, right? And even if you want to be the guy that's in the action, you have to play your role, right? That's something that would drive my soldiers crazy, like in a patrol base or something, right? You know, it's like we're starting to get action from this side of the patrol base,
right?
But you know, we're in charge of guarding this side of the patrol base,
right?
Well, you know, unless we get called to help reinforce that side, we have to protect this side because we don't know if somebody's coming on this side.
Absolutely.
You don't get to just jump over where the action is, right? And it's the same thing with protection. You know, it's like, you know, everybody has their role. This guy might want to jump in there, but he's got to move back to secure the area, you know?
Yeah. And that's exactly what happens. So,
you know, he's not reacting the same, but he's doing his job potentially, right? Again, I just got this video and I'm like, that's why we're talking about it.
Yeah. I said, I'm trying to, they're definitely, they seem suspiciously like, you know, what are the chances the guy adjusts his hat and
then the other guy does a weird signal right after.
Yeah. So, I mean, you'd have to really, the autopsy, you got to see what the hell's going on.
And unless they interview these guys, which I would hope they do, and then produce those interview results, we're not going to know.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, shit. Yeah, it's again, still trying to figure out why, if that's the case, why, right? I mean, it's like eventually maybe he's president.
That's what I keep hearing is possibly they thought he had a really good, strong presidential.
Yeah, but you're looking at like 12 years from now. You know what I mean? You know, it's not like
5 years. He's
not running that. He's not running that early. No, I mean, there's Rubio and Vance in front of him. You know, there's like, you know, it could be potentially 20 years. You know, maybe someone's got a time machine and he actually turns out to, you know, it's like, well, if I could go back and kill Hitler,
should put your thing back on.
Right. Maybe someone got into the wormhole and that's what happened to that plane. It went through a wormhole back to the future, dropped the guys off, and then
It flew over Skinwalker Ranch, the wormhole there.
Done. It's around there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Something like
yeah,
that.
it is.
So, yeah, let's get into this other video again. I'm trying to, again, we're all trying to wrap our heads around this. That's something that is, what happens next, right? So, who knows? I'm shuddering at it because now you're activating things, and this is a problem, right? And we need complete and total transparency and answers as to what they have, not this fucking secret squirrel bullshit again.
But even if they release stuff, can we even trust that that's the truth? I mean, that's
No,
always
of course
that's
not.
always the question,
Of course
right?
not.
They
Yeah,
can
of
easily
course.
write up whatever I mean, just look at Roswell. They released one thing, and then all of a sudden, all these different memorandums and things come out saying like, oh no, it was all this other stuff. Like
right. Of course. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Again, it's brutal. I don't like looking at it.
No, and the next one's really bad too.
Yeah. So the upside is you don't see any detail. So what we're gonna show you guys next is there was a beheading in Dallas. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The story that I saw is that the assailant worked as a maid in this hotel, and what I had read, this may have changed because it was a few days ago, was that the victim, who's the manager, came up to them. So there was the assailant and another female coworker. I guess they're house cleaning at this hotel. Came up to him and directed his statement to the female because she knew she spoke English, and said simply that one of the washing machines was out, not to use it. And then the assailant got upset that he didn't speak to him because I guess maybe he thought he didn't speak English. I'm just going to go out on a limb and saying that the manager and the assailant probably had a beef. I don't know anything about this. I'm just guessing that this kind of set him off the edge. Yes, the assailant was not in the country legally. Yes, he had prior criminal history. Am I missing anything?
No, I think that's it. That's about it.
Okay, yeah. So they get into an argument. The assailant goes and gets a machete and proceeds to. Here we go. Play. Why aren't you playing? Okay. What's going on here? Let me just make sure it's the right file. Is it what kind of file is this?
It says JPEG.
That's a JPEG. Shit. You still have? Damn it.
I emailed it to you. I think maybe.
You did.
Greg's the one who sent it to me. Actually.
I got it. All right, inbox. Yeah, I like that. Greg's producer now.
Right. we need you back on here, Greg. We're falling apart.
Right. Let me just say I'm looking at Josh. No.
That's the wrong thing. Let me grab mine.
Yeah. Because I downloaded it and then I do not have it. Hold on. Yeah. Thanks, Greg. Let's see. Dallas. I can't believe I could find it behind the story. Don't tell manager if they're no. I think. Let me see if this is it. Okay. I'm just trying to check and see if it's in news. Okay, I got something. Okay, here we go. I got something. Screen. Okay, here we go. Got that? All right.
A brutal killing in Texas, Dallas has sent shockwaves across America and India.
I love the AI voice, by the way. It's painful.
50-year-old Indian man, Chandra Nagamalaya, was beheaded in front of his wife and son at a motel on September 10th. The violence began with a dispute over a broken washing machine. Police say the accused, 37-year-old Yordanis Cobos Martinez, carried out the attack with a machete. He has now been arrested and charged with capital murder. The Department of Homeland Security confirmed that Cobos Martinez is a Cuban national. Officials say he was released under the Biden administration because Cuba refused to take him back due to his criminal history. The attack took place at the Downtown Suites Motel in Dallas, where both Nagamalaya and Cobos Martinez worked. According to the arrest affidavit obtained by Fox News, Nagamalaya had asked Cobos Martinez and a female colleague not to use the broken machine. He had asked the female colleague to translate instead.
Okay, so you see him on the ground. He's got the machete. I mean, we can kind of start piecing this together. The other video that he gave me was actually just showed the attack. So he's chasing him. He pins him down. I mean, insert your ground fighting. You know, it's funny, like some of this stuff, like keeping somebody off, with your legs is actually technically something we teach, though not specifically in this way. But putting yourself on the ground against someone who is armed is not a good idea. I mean, he boxed himself in. I can't tell how he got on the ground in the first place here.
It looked like he kind of like ran and fell over.
Yeah.
Yeah, see right there?
Yeah.
He kind of fell over.
But
he had opportunities to get up, but he just didn't.
Yep. So he's trying. If he gets up, he's getting his head chopped off, right? That he's trying to like do what is actually natural, right? Is put your feet in between you and your
keep him away, right? Create that distance.
And then he doesn't have an opportunity to get up. I guess his wife is there, and his kid. They're trying to stop him. I'm guessing he's already injured at this point.
I would assume so.
Maybe
he's laying there with the 1 foot up on his knee, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. There's his head.
Yeah, when he starts kicking around like a soccer ball. It's disgusting.
Holy crap, man. So, this is something that posted link OG vid in your messenger. Okay, cool. Let me see. Josh, did you get that?
Yeah, I sent it to your messenger.
Where?
Your Facebook or something like that.
Oh, don't just.
The one that says Damian Ross.
Don't make me go on Facebook. Can you just share it and pull it up?
I don't have Facebook on my computer. It's on my iPad.
All right, hold on. Thanks. By the way, note if anyone wants to message me, if you're messaging me on Facebook, I'm not going to answer. Or Instagram. I have friends that send me shit all the time. Not all the time, regularly, and they're, and I'm like, I don't go on there. I'm like, I have too many things to pay attention to.
I blame Greg for this one.
Hold on. All right. I haven't been logged in, so they gotta give me like 2-factor. Okay, here we go. 1 4 9 1. All right, good. Here. Okay. Thanks again, Greg. Nice. Okay, me. Messenger. There you are. Confirm. Okay, Josh. Messenger. Come on. No. I got an error. See, this is all right. We're gonna
nix it.
Hold on. All right, volume warning. Wait, something happened. It's yeah. I mean, can you cut and paste it and put it in the chat or on the?
Not really. I'm only slightly more technologically inclined than you.
Okay. All right. So let's just end it. At the end of the day, yeah, that was crap. All right. So again, we have a guy, this way, we're going to talk about, going to the ground and tripping and your environment, all that stuff. But, you don't know, and this was said, this was a dispute at work and you don't know who you're dealing with. Right. So that's just
speaking of, apparently at my work, I don't know if this person got hired or not, but they were going to hire this bartender who apparently the job prior, he had threatened to shoot up his work.
What?
Yeah. And so all the managers were like, we're not hiring this guy. So.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's a red flag. I mean, you can't threaten to shoot up work, people. That's just kind of like ever. I don't know when that ever was good. Now
Never.
It's, that's insane. That's insane. People are freaking nuts, dude. So again, apologize for that last video. Apparently I saved the JPEG.
Or I sent you the JPEG because I'm retarded. So
no. What I did is I downloaded it from Facebook. I downloaded the video, and then I don't know if I probably downloaded a JPEG. So yeah, there's that. So anyway, so Greg messaged me. Give me for contact for you. Here, hold on.
You might have the video.
I'm just getting my email address. Greg, is that a Malinois?
Yeah. He breeds them, I think.
No way. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. He's actually not too far from you.
No. Where is he?
Yeah. Virginia.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, not too far, but yeah. I mean, I think Malinois are great dogs. A lot of work, man. Keep them active and engaged and not tearing up the furniture. Yeah, we're in between dogs. I'm like taking a break.
I think my dog's about to go. She's like 13 years old now, and she's just getting there.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, I'm like, yeah, we had bull mastiffs for a while. They don't last too long, which I'm okay with. Because it's like you get a new puppy every 8 to 10 years. So,
terrible, but true.
Sure, I mean, it's a fact, It's like, okay, new dog. Yeah, so, and then the last one, it's just, man. Yeah, it's just like a freaking vet bills, and that's a racket and a half. Because they keep you going. I remember he had like a skin infection. They're like, well, we could do this, and then we're like, no, we're just going to keep him on the steroids. He was like 7. And they're like, well, you got to come back every, 6 months to get blood work. I'm like, no, I don't. Why? So you're telling me his liver's failing? I'm like, yeah, no shit, dude. We're not going down this, You know, the first one I had died when he was really young. He got anemic. I think we probably had liver cancer. And then he was like awesome. He was like 140 pounds, like shredded, really good temperament. And then he just went down to like 100 pounds, you know, like a month. And then, you know, when they're looking, when they see the stairs and they look at you, look at the stairs, and you're like, yeah, man, I get it. It's time. You know, that kind of shit. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of like enjoying. Okay, cool. Got it, Greg. All right. Say, well, set the desktop. Okay, save. All right, cool. Greg, producer credit. It's awesome. Yeah, but they're beautiful dogs, man. I do like them. Yeah. So here we go. Okay, we're uploading. Okay, we better have something to say about this. Okay, all right, this is brutal. All right, people, buckle up. Here we go.
You're not showing.
I know I'm not.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, again, warning, there's like, you got audio on this too, so it's rough. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, I don't know who's screaming. It could be him. It could be the victim or the victim's wife. Can you see that?
Yeah, it's kind of small, but we can see it.
All right. Trying to see if I could zoom in on it. Hold on a second. I don't know if I can. Man, okay. Oh, the video within the video. Oh man. Yeah. No need to keep watching that.
No.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know. You know, when you're getting, look, I mean, you're getting, obviously, man, reaction to escape is correct. Especially this dude is fixated. Obviously, doesn't want to have anything to do with anybody else. He's fixated on him. Then you're realizing also what happens is, you know, when you're boxing yourself in. I mean, reality, his, you know, wife should have, you know, hopefully she called the police first. Somebody called the police, and you can, you know, escape and put enough, you know, space between you and him to a response time. But the reality is, you know, how far can you run, right? How far can, you know, if you're not, you know, if you don't have any plan other than to, you know, wing it, you know, and you're not armed, you're not trained, you don't have any clue, you know, that's what happens. These people are out here, you know.
Yeah, so, I mean, we talk a lot about equalizers, right? This is why equalizers exist. you know. I mean, not to like, we're gonna nitpick this a little bit, right? But
Yeah,
like,
of course,
there's a trash
of
can.
course.
There's a trash can right there. You know, we talk about the lion tamer chair.
Right.
You know, could have picked up the
Right.
trash can, used it as the lion tamer chair. You know,
Right. Yes.
you know, any number of things. You know, again, running definitely the right answer to begin with. But like you said, he boxed himself in. He ran into a place that was uneven ground and he tripped and he fell. You know, like there's so many other things he could have done.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. It's sad and it's disgusting. But could it have gone differently? Yeah, it could have.
Yeah, Greg puts an interesting point. It's like, you know, everyone in Dallas, you know, talks about their open carry and they brag about it. He's like, all those people even open carry and not one person there that could have ended that threat. Yeah, because even here you have an armed society, right? And nobody's around, you know. Yeah.
Or nobody wants to get involved. You know, we talk about that all the
That's
time.
true too. Right. Right.
You
You know,
know?
there's, yeah, just like the poor girl on the arena on the train. I mean, shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're sitting there and you're watching this, and it's like, how many people are in that motel? How many people are, you know, just hearing that? How can you not hear that and react?
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I said there's like, you know, again, using your environment, because there's going to come a point where you're running, and if they're in better shape than you, you know, they're going to catch you. You know, that's a fact. So, you know, getting yourself to a place where you can, you know, barricade yourself if you can't fight back, you know. But again, if you're not prepared, if you're not, you know, in the least trained in the least bit, I'm like, you're gonna die. And that was brutal. And you don't know. That's why, like, you know, here's somebody, he's at work, to your point, you know, your last guy, you know, one guy applied to work there, threatened to shoot up his old job, right? You don't know who you're dealing with, right? So, you know, you have to assume. I mean, these guys get into an argument.
Well, you know, as much as I hate to say it too, you know, they know he was illegal. So this person employed an illegal. Again, even more not knowing who this person is, right? At least if they're a citizen or permanent resident, you can do a background check as part of your application process. But if you're just hiring illegals, no background checks are happening.
And in that other news report, you know, he was a criminal and he got deported back, and Cuba's like, no, we don't want him. Of course they don't want him. So you keep him.
And of course, Biden just released him into our society.
Yeah. It's funny. My buddy's an immigration judge down in Virginia, and he's telling me before we would, you know, rule, you know, a stop hold or a deportation or whatever. He goes, and nothing would be done. He's like, but he just had a case where a guy, they played the system. So he got kicked out, right? You know, he said deport him and do whatever. So he failed to appear. So they put a warrant out for him. Then he's here for like 5 years, has a wife and a kid now. And he says he's working. This is my buddy, Steve. He's fucking awesome. He's also a commander in the Coast Guard. So former Marine, sitting on the bench, and he's like, okay. He's like, why do you want to stay? He's like, well, I'm, I contribute to society. Right. So he's like, oh, okay. He's like, how do you contribute to society? And he's like, well, I have a job. Oh, you have a job. Okay. Like, he's like, do you pay taxes? He's like, no. Oh, so he's like, you don't pay taxes. He's like, do you volunteer coaching your kids' sports? No. Do you volunteer at your church? I go to church. He goes, yes, but do you volunteer at your church? Right? What do you do to the community that's so valuable? He goes, because all I can see right now is like, you don't pay taxes, which means your kids go to school for free. Your kids get your family gets medical for free. It's like, and you're reaping all the benefits and you're not contributing. And so here's what I'm going to do. Is like, if I deport you, which, you know, because he technically now he can't because he has a different circumstance now. It's like, if I deport you back to your country, he goes, they're going to know you were in America, that you have money, and they're going to demand that you pay them, like, I don't know, $25 a week or whatever the hell it is they do, because the gangs will do that because he's also a gang member. He's like, they're going to do that. He's like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to forward your case to the IRS. It's like they're going to do an investigation. They're going to come up with a bill. You know, he's basically going to get fined for back taxes. And we figured it was probably about seven, because he's making like 900 a week. It's probably about, 70 grand plus taxes and, plus fees and penalties and crap like that, if they ever even get around to it. So I'm like, chances are nothing's happened to this guy. And now my buddy can't put the deportation order on him. But my thing is, like, at least for a few months, he's going to be sweating. At least you got him nervous and upset. I go, the reality is nothing's going to happen to him because, he's going to flip it over.
And maybe he actually starts getting involved in the community and doing good things because he's like, I thought I was doing something, but I didn't, right? I had nothing.
Right. Yeah, one would hope, right? Because he's like, yeah, his thing was like, I'm building this country. It's like, oh, you're building this country. It's like, okay, let me hear how you're building this country.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, again, but this is what we're dealing with. And these are not, yes, obviously there are a lot of good people that come over here to make this country great. And that's what makes this country great. That's what my grandparents and great-grandparents did. But, there's a shit ton of criminal elements that are coming in. And this is what we're looking at. And the country's, like, put it this way, they keep the ones they want. They kick out the shit they don't want.
Of course.
That's the reality of it. So on that note, we'll end it here. Thanks everybody for joining. Greg, thank you very much again for your production. And we will be here same bat time, same bat channel next week. Until then, everyone, train honestly. See you then.